Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Welcome to episode 183 of Hobby Quick Hits. On a recent Hobby Quick Hits, I talked about adjusting comps and how I got lax and how it cost me, I believe, or partially was responsible for two bad shows I had in a row. And I obviously got my price gun out and adjusted comps. Well, I did my first show since adjusting comps, and today's episode is going to be whether or not it made a difference or not. So that's today's episode.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hey guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan, and Valparaiso, bringing you guys these weekly releases for the next couple weeks here. Starting off, we got on the 16th, we have 2023 Panini Contenders Football and 2023 Leaf Eclectic Baseball. On the 17th as well, 2024 Panini Donruss Baseball, 2024 Panini Stars and Stripes Baseball H2, 2024 Topps Chrome Baseball Blasters, Delights, Hobbies, Jumbos, and also 2023-24 Upper Deck AHL Hockey. And on the 19th, we have 2023 Panini Donruss Optic Football, 2024 Panini Prism WWE, 2024 Panini Select Racing, and 2024 Wild Card 5-Draw Baseball. All right. Also, we have on the 24th, 2023-24 Panini Prism Copa America Soccer. And also we have 2024 TriStar Hidden Treasures Dugout Dreams Encapsulated Autograph Baseball Edition, 2023-24 Topps UEFA Club Competitions Chrome Soccer Jumbo. And we also have the regular hobby for that product as well on the 24th. And then we have also 2023-24 Upper Deck Allure Hockey and 2023-24 Upper Deck SPX Hockey. And on the 26th, finally, we have 2024 Topps Chrome US Olympic and Paralympic Hopefuls, 2024-25 Upper Deck MVP Hockey. And that will be it for these next couple weeks here. I appreciate you guys tuning into the show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it. Thank you.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out. All right, folks, let's start with the big news story in the hobby. But I have a feeling very few of you have not heard this yet. But let's give a little more details about it as they start to matriculate in. The Dallas robbery from the Dallas Card Show, 160 cards valued at just under $2 million, belonging to Ashish Jain of Legacy Cards, a widely well-respected dealer. Most accounts report him as a nice guy. I have bought a couple cards from him, actually at a Dallas card show a couple years ago. There's video. Kyle Robertson, the promoter of the show, has plenty of video cameras. So there's video of the 4 or 5 people involved in the heist. It was really pre-planned and scoped out, and they used a distraction method. Ashish himself is offering a $70,000 reward for information that leads to apprehension and also return of the cards. And now the FBI is involved with the cause. So I'm hoping, like probably most people with a kind heart, that this has a happy ending and that the people who did this get what they deserve. You know, one of the things I was talking about to a few other people in the hobby on some other shows is it seems like a lot of times they catch these folks that commit these hobby crimes and they seem to get slap on the wrist, including one case where the criminal didn't even really have to pay back what he stole. There's a lot of new criminal laws on the books in the legal side of life, bail reform, and less harsher penalties. And so hopefully just deserves hopefully it has a happy ending, and hopefully the people who did this heinous crime get what they deserve. Hey, if you're listening to this on release day here on Monday, we're 9 days. We're in single digits away from the National. Topps has announced that if you have a redemption that's over 100 days old and you're tired of waiting for it, and it has at least $100 value, and you can combine these redemption cards and make the $100 value, you can exchange it for a sealed box called the Topps Exchange Box. And in that box, there is a autographed card from a previously released Topps product that wasn't claimed. And that value will be anywhere from a minimum of $50 to a high of $7,500. So if you have $100 in agreed upon value between you and Topps, you can trade that redemption card and stop waiting for it for one of these Topps exchange boxes with a guaranteed value of anywhere from $50 to $7,500. Sort of seems very reminiscent of the white boxes that Panini did. So Heritage has announced midway through 2024 their auctions have raised $924 million, almost $925 million. They have been around for 48 years. This is an all-time high at the midway point of their year. And one last smaller story, but Loop, still around, still hanging on. They announced that there can be collector-to-collector sales. So you're in a break, and your team or your break, whatever you own in the break, hits something, someone else watching, you can actually sell it peer-to-peer right on the site. Something that's never been, they've never done before. So added element to Loop, collector-to-collector buying and selling.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, on the last episode of Hobby Quick Hits, I talked about how I got lazy, changing my comps, lazy/busy, changing my pricing on my show inventory, and then I had a couple not so great shows. And so I mentioned on that episode that I was going to go through my showcase inventory and update pricing more in line with the comps, which they weren't all before. Now, I didn't have to change every price. Some, everything doesn't always go up and down, but went ahead and changed some pricing. And full disclosure, there was even a card that was marked $250 that is really an $80 comp. And that really right there, folks, is just an example of how sometimes pricing can change that quickly, right? So that card was repriced, obviously, along with many others. Now, I have a lot of plastic BCW boxes that are on my table with thousands of cards. So, to reprice all of that, it's difficult. But I did order a sign, kind of a stand-up plastic sign that I put on the table that houses those BCW boxes with which says take 20% off, additionally off any marked price. I also have little tiles where I can up that to 40, 50%, whatever I choose. So I went through and kind of updated my pricing, and I did my first show since that. And so this segment, I'm going to talk about, what was the outcome? Did it make a difference? Was that the reason that I had two not so great shows? Let's talk about that. So the show in question, I do a big Syracuse show here at the fairgrounds. We don't have another one of those till September. So this is a Watertown show that I do each month. It's a once a month Watertown show. 50, 60 tables, I'm guessing. I have 1.5 tables. I split with my friend Chad, who has 1.5 tables. We have 3 tables combined. I also have an SGC table, which is basically attached, but it's a separate entity. I do run it. Don't get me wrong; it's mine. But that's kind of speaks for itself. There's no cards for sale on the table. That's for bulk subs, and those have been very, very steady and very, very good. This is not what this episode is gonna be about. I'm only talking about the Newman sports card side of the house, if you will. So show turned out fairly well attended. Started off kind of slow, and so I don't want to say I was worried, but you're like, oh, is it going to be a third one in a row that it's going to be nothing to write home about? And then it really started to pick up, and the prices or the boxes of the 20% sign, those really, people were getting into those, buying some stuff out of that. I sell a lot of hockey at this particular show as we're closer to Canada, so sold some hockey, but definitely sold more showcase cards at this show than I had in the previous 2 Watertown shows. I wound up doing very well at this show, thankfully. So I ended that 2-show not so great streak. And so I guess the question is, I sold some manuals. I sold a decent amount out of my showcases and those plastic boxes. But the question is, was it me with the comps, or was it just coincidence? I like to think, when you have 2 not so great shows, and then you realize it's because you got a little lackadaisical on updating some pricing, and then you update pricing and you have a really good show. I'd like to take a little credit. I think that was, my bad on the previous 2 shows of not having those prices sort of in tune with current comps. And so I think it goes to show you, like, the importance of, right, kind of as a dealer, evaluating your stuff. The other thing I'd like to say, if you ever had a show as a consumer and you're at a table, maybe you feel like, oh, these prices are high, rather than say, hey, the dealer's just the jerk trying to, like, rip someone who doesn't know off. And those people exist. Those dealers exist. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. Don't always paint with that brush, right? Maybe it's a situation like myself where I just kind of got busy, just didn't get to it, didn't do it. Even the 2 months where the 2 shows I had that were not great, had someone said, hey, you got this on this card and it's really this, and I would have worked with that. So that's my point is, if you really want a card and you feel like the dealer is high for whatever reason, right? Laziness in my case, or, maybe they're just trying to, pull a fast one, if you will, ask, right? Don't assume either or. Ask, and you might be surprised, but on the dealer side, right, it's important for us to give the best prices and be the most accurate to current market conditions, right? And I didn't do that for 2 shows, and I think at the end of the day, that's why they weren't 2 great shows, and this one was after I made adjustments. So it's important to stay on top of things. I'm a one-man show. In other words, it's just me involved with, the Newman sports card sides. Obviously, I do content creation. So it's easy to get caught up. Obviously, we're getting ready for the National. That's taking some of my time away. But, as a dealer, I think it's important to try to stay on top of those comps. Get your price gun out. Reprice stuff. Had, again, a very good show. Probably my second best Watertown show. I've been doing it now slightly less than a year, so probably 10 of them. Up until like the last 2, the bad ones, the previous 6 or 7 were very good, and this one was very good as well. So again, probably ranked second out of the 10 shows. Very, very pleased, happy. Was I nervous going into the show? I mean, I'm not trying to sound conceited. I typically don't have 3 not great shows in a row as a dealer, or usually not. I don't want to say I was nervous, but yeah, I was concerned, like, hey, I've repriced stuff. Like, I guess I was concerned. I'll answer this question like this. I guess I was concerned because I really liked this show, that had I had another not so hot show, I would have then maybe said, is it the show? Is it the venue? Is the bloom sort of coming off the rose of this? It's a little, I don't want to say little, it's a smaller show in comparison to the fairground show I do at Syracuse 4 to 5 times a year. So that was really kind of my concern, was that, sometimes shows hit that plateau, right? Or that wall, or even worse, they start going downhill as that sort of mystique, and it's not such a big deal anymore. So I guess that was where my feelings were, is like, hey, is this, and maybe had I not had a good show, I would have really started to think along those lines. Maybe it's not even so much the pricing as it is the venue, or just, it's not, that buzz is gone with the monthly show. But, I think the proof is in the pudding, that it was more on me not having, updated pricing. So, note to self, right? Stay on top of that. No excuses. If it takes a few hours one day before, you set up at a show, you gotta do it, right? It's being fair to yourself as a dealer. It's being fair to your customers, right? And I think that's important. But again, don't be, this is easy. It's as easy coming from me to say, who's actually kind of shy and doesn't like to ask. If, like I talked about how if a dealer doesn't price his cards, I usually don't ask. But if someone's priced their cards and you think they're, especially if you feel like, I just think the dealer doesn't realize the comp on this, is point it out to him or her, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Open those lines of communication if you're interested in the card. And you might be doing a service to them. They may not even realize, like, hey, I didn't stay on top of this. Like I didn't really, until I kind of scratched my head and said, what's going on here, right? So communication is key in a lot of genres, hobby as well. So happy to say, third time was the charm, or third show in a row time is the charm. But I like to think, and I do think, it was me finally getting to and adjusting those prices to, where they needed to be, where the 2 shows where they weren't. So, something I'm going to be more aware of and more concerned with. We make mistakes, right? We're humans. Doesn't necessarily make you a bad guy, and so just wanted to kind of, that wasn't really the original intent of this week's episode, but based off the previous show, I kind of wanted to do an update. So we'll wrap it up right here. had a very good show. If you're in, I'll be back there August 17th again for another Watertown show in Watertown, New York. If you're in the local area or in the vicinity or going to be visiting someone, love to see you there. But support your local LCSs and your local shows as well. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/sportscardnationpodcast/ Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram, at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show, hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.